this video is basically how to make a F16 V4 Pixel controller with one expansion board. You get pretty much this whole package off of Wired Watts. I personally ordered the controller from Falcon Controllers themselves at pixelcontroller.com. Everything else was bought from Wired Watts. Made this pretty easy. First thing I did was I made a template. I made a piece of paper about the size of the bottom of the box, so I had something to go off of. And I just marked approximately where I wanted things, and then I kind of made the template to have everything spread out evenly. These boxes are approximately 1 inch that I have on here, and those are what's going to power your pixels. The two bigger ones on the top are for Ethernet ports, and the two smaller ones in the bottom left and bottom right are for the AC power, where you're going to plug this into your outlet. I ended up poking holes in this paper to make it pretty easy to label on the box, and then I just used a Sharpie to basically bleed through the holes and make it easier for me to drill out. Now, I believe there is an option off of Wired Watts website when you're putting this box together that you can have all this stuff pre-drilled, so you might want to look into that if you don't want to worry about this process. So I basically drilled a pilot hole for every one of these marks to make it easier when I'm using the hole saw and the step drill bit. For the glands that the Ethernet's going to pass through, the hole saw itself, I believe, was 1 inch. I had the outside diameter that it was going to make of this, and I matched that up against the glands that were going to pass through there. This is the hole saw kit, and it has pretty much any size in there that you would want. I think I got this one for Harbor Freight pretty cheap. The next two holes that are going to be drilled are for the AC outlets, again, to plug in to your outlets to power this box. Those glands are the P9s, I believe, and the hole size using the step drill bit, I got to 5/8 of an inch. And during the process, I would just go back and check to make sure I was not drilling the hole too big. Now, the rest of the holes that I had to drill out are all for the pigtails that go from the controller to your pixels to power their pixels. Now, these are the P7 glands. So the only thing I didn't do with this one is I didn't put vents on the side. I decided not to do it on this one. I may add them later. We'll see kind of how hot the internal temperature gets, if I need to add those or not. I have a little helper for a minute. To do those vents, I would just measure the diameter that's going to go through the box and pick the correct hole saw to drill those out. So now I'm just filing this down to try to round out the edges, because the hole saw kind of heats up the plastic and doesn't have the best cut, so I'm just trying to file it down to make sure the edges aren't super rough, just kind of have a better look to it, even though it's all going to be covered. We're just testing to make sure that this gland for the Ethernet port fits on both sides before I clean it up. And there's the finished product. It's pretty much ready to go to start doing all the electronics inside. So that's it basically for the box build to prep it for the electronics. We're going to do another video, probably part 2 of the Falcon controller bud box build.